All right, so welcome to today's Zoom meeting. Our president, Terry, can't be here today like a lot of you may or may not be opening up. She's in process of getting up and running at her agency, so she wasn't able to be here with us today. Go ahead, and if you can put your information in the chat, let us know where you're from, contact information in case anyone needs it. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let us know that you want to talk. I'm guessing everyone can hear me and I'm not just talking to myself. I see some nods. Awesome. Like I was saying earlier, I can see the video participants even if their video is not on, but maybe it looks like there's only one person who's dialed in on the phone. So I think we're good. We may have a smaller group today. I know things are getting a little bit busier for everyone. We do have an aquatics section board meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. If any of you are interested in joining us for the meeting, you're more than welcome. Our secretary, Lauren, will be sending out the meeting information through the CPRS community's email after this meeting. We didn't want to confuse anybody with times and dates, so feel free to join us tomorrow if you're so inclined. So let's just get started with talking about facilities and programs. How many of you are actually have been given the okay by your county to open, and what's that been like for you? Does anybody want to share their experience on how that's going? Just feel free to unmute.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Contra Costa County allowed pools to open effective June 8th, I think. Well, it was a Friday. It was the first Friday of June. We're open for City of San Ramon's open for lap swim starting this last Monday, June 15th. So it sounds like we're one of the only pools open, yet. I know the other pools in Contra Costa are opening next week and moving forward. So we're getting a huge demand of lap swimmers. I started with 560 reservation spots, and I released them last Friday, and they were all full within 2 hours. And we're getting people from all over the Bay Area coming out here. So we added another 500 or so. So we have like 1,000 and some change spaces available for lap swim this week, Monday through Saturday, in 50-minute sessions, one person per lane. So it's really only like unique users, maybe like 200, 250 people. They can swim 5 times a week if they want. But it'll be interesting to see once other pools open, how that changes to that number and how that affects everything. But in general, it's going real smooth. Everybody's happy and just grateful to be back at the pool and swimming and following the directions and all of that good stuff. So we're looking to start rental groups up next week and then kind of keep expanding as the health order eases.
Okay, thanks, Andrew.
I'm using Sign Up Genius for reservations. I saw that question in the chat.
Awesome. Anyone else have any different experiences or anything to share about their reopening or frustrations about not being able to reopen?
Hi, I can go. Sunrise has just started training lifeguards. We're doing lifeguard class with social distancing, and Colin's on the call too. He can tell you more about it because he's a lead teacher on that class. We'll be opening for swim team clinics next Monday in the form of lap swim, 1 swimmer per lane essentially. And then moving on to swim lessons the following week. And with the swim lessons for all the beginning classes, we're going to go the parent-child format and really space them out in our pool. So like at one of our facilities where we typically have 8 to 10 lessons going on at a time, we'll end up with 3. But so far, that's our plan to reopen, and the lifeguard class is the only thing that's underway. And Colin, if you want to talk about how the lifeguard class is going, that's probably helpful too.
Sure. We have a large community room that we can fit up to 30 people socially distanced. We maxed it at 16 for the class. We have an 8-lane pool, so they kind of broke it in that way. For the water rescue parts, we have family members attending to be rescued by the certain family member, so that went off well. At first I thought it was going to be an issue trying to find 16 people to have 16 people show up in the water rescue part. I engineered all the time frames for when the people were going to be at the pool, sent them out ahead of time. We did the direct links with the Red Cross, and it saved us a ton of time on that part. And then going through lectures and stuff like that. So it's been weird. I can't get in the water to demonstrate like I normally would on a participant. So I have to have the participants walk through the specific skills, referencing videos, things like that. So it's been different, but all things considered, it's nice that we're able to provide that for the community.
Very true. Thank you. So you guys haven't started to, so does your community know about swim lessons yet, or you're still not 100% sure on that? I'm just curious if anybody's thrown swim lessons out there with the new guidelines and how their communities reacted to that.
So we released it just yesterday and then had a problem with ActiveNet. So we didn't get very many signups, but ActiveNet had something where you couldn't create an account or something. So that's fixed today. I don't know what the numbers will look like next. I'd say about 70–80% of people that are pretty happy. So everyone that was already enrolled, because we opened up enrollment in March before COVID.
Oh, okay.
So all the people that were already enrolled, I sent them out an email a couple days before I opened up to the public saying, this is your lesson, this is your lesson time, and this is the new lesson format. If you're in this class, you're going to need a parent. If you're in this class, you're going to be able to have to swim 15 yards by yourself. If neither of those work, contact me and I'll figure something out for you. So, you know, about 20% of people either want to be shuffled around or refunded, because some people are like, no, I don't want to get in with my kids. But a lot of people are just excited.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, it seems that's the case, but I'm always curious to hear how our communities react.
Yeah, and I mean, some people are, you know, maybe like 2 people are kind of snottily mad about it. Like, what's the point of that then? And I'm like, well, that's what I got.
Yeah,
So,
then don't participate.
yeah, no problem. Have your money back. But
Right.
I think most people are like, yeah, I'll try that, or, you know, and it might be a nice bonding experience for them and their kids. I can't tell you how it goes till a couple weeks from now,
Right.
but I'm optimistic that it'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be excited to hear the update. Okay, so in the chat, we have a question from Tiffany, and Mariana is also interested. So for those that are opening, do your swimmers have to have a sign-in sheet with waiver language? Are you having them sign in person or online? Are you requiring patrons to answer questions prior to entry? And are you doing temperature checks? Does anybody have anything to share with how they're, you know, getting people in the doors, what processes they may be following?
Looks like Dominic does.
Yeah, so with City of El Cajon, we have not officially opened yet. However, our plan, and I use that term in quotations, is to have, we have pop-up canopies are going to be set up outside the facility to socially distance the different households. And then we have rec center staff that will be doing temperature checks as well as any type of symptom checks. And then from there, those center staff will take them into the pool area, and then we have designated waiting areas for the parents if they don't have to get in. But we're also trying to look into the parents getting in if they're not water safe yet as well.
Okay.
And for City of San Ramon, we are doing health checks with the temperature, and we ask them all the symptoms. The lap swimmers don't have to have a waiver, at least at this moment. I just got the language from our insurance pooling group with the waiver language, though, that we're going to have for rental groups. So we may add that to the website or to the you know, the process, but we don't have them sign anything when they get here. They reserve online. And then as far as payment goes, it's all touchless payment with either credit card or swim pass, no cash handling. So it's pretty hands off once you're here at the facility.
Yeah, I haven't heard any different about any, at least for our insurance. I work for a special district, so of course I'm with Capri, and they have given us waiver language in general that covers COVID, but they haven't given us instruction to require any type of waiver for something that didn't require a waiver previously, like drop-in use. So we have updated waiver language for any registered programs, but that's all I've heard as far as waiver language.
This is Tiffany with the City of Gustine. So we're opening July 6th, and we're going to be only doing a few classes, very small classes. We're doing Aqua Zumba with only 20 participants. We're going to do classes with, we called it, I think, Grown Up and Me. So that way it doesn't have to be a mommy or whatever. And then a guardian, the same guardian has to be there every day for the 2-week period for this class. Our instructor will be outside the pool. Our plan is when they sign up, it's all on ActiveNet. So there's the waiver's already on ActiveNet. So once they sign the waiver, they sign it. Then they have to give us a phone number that takes text messages. And then on that morning, we'll be sending every morning, which is going to be tedious and annoying, but we're going to be sending them a survey monkey, asking them those questions regarding, you know, have you had a temperature, those questions, you know, the questionnaire. So that morning you'll get a result, because if you ask them on Monday and they come until Friday, it's something that's going to have to be asked every day. So we're hoping just to send them a survey monkey link, and then they can just fill that out every day before they come. And then we'll see a list of who filled out the survey and let them know that they can come in. And then whoever does it, we'll have to wait for them to fill it out. And we'll probably have some paper ones there ready to go, but that's the plan so far.
Very cool. Thank you. Mariana is asking if anyone knows of any trainings or videos that guards can take or view when teaching lessons now to families instead of hands-on, and are your guards teaching from the water or out of water? I don't know if maybe Zachary or Tara have any feedback on as far as teaching lessons. You know, if you guys have any recommendations as the Red Cross, or if anyone else has anything to share.
Yeah, we haven't put anything out on some lessons, unfortunately. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, just I was gonna say just follow local guidelines and socially distance as best as possible.
I think it was Peter. I forget what was one of the people that were on the task force. They talked about putting a video out to kind of show the parents what they're expecting on the first day. That's what our plan is to do, is to have one of Becky's kids in the water, and they're going to basically navigate through the process to show what it looks like for the parents. I haven't, for the training of my staff, come up with something to kind of demonstrate to them.
That's a great idea of putting something together for the parents to see.
We're Stacy, City of Newark. We're actually working on that on Friday and bringing in my kids, and some staff are going to come in, and we're going to work on that mock video to send out to parents.
Awesome. Are you guys going to just send that to the people that are registered, or is that going to be a public thing?
We've been talking about putting it out on our Facebook page, and as well as sending it out to the parents both that are already registered.
Okay.
Gonna work on all that fun editing this weekend.
Wait, if you do end up posting it to your Facebook, and you could let us know, we could always share it from ours if you don't mind, and that would, you know, get it out to our folks to see too.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, thank you. And City of Newark, okay, writing this down. All right, let's see what else. Anybody have any swim teams back in session, camps?
The City of Woodland started swim team this week. And next week we are planning on starting lap swim, but currently we're doing swim team, one kid per lane. And they have to stage outside in the parking lot, and they check their temperature and ask questions before they enter the facility.
Okay.
Folsom just opened up today for our U.S. club to get back in the water. We opened up all 19 lanes, 1 swimmer per lane. They're doing multiple sessions to try to accommodate all their users or swimmers. So started this morning, they're going into the afternoon and taking up a good bulk of time. And then our lap swim program kicked off yesterday, and that's going to 2-hour blocks in the afternoon and then 2 hours in the evening. And that's been going well so far as well. So kind of exciting to see people back in the water and on the pool deck. It's almost like we're opening a brand new aquatics center, even though it's 2 years old. So just good to see people's faces, and they're very appreciative, which is very nice.
It is nice. Thanks, Tom. So according to your county's guidelines, so Mariana, did your county give any guidelines on diving board use? I know mine did. In Kern County, they said diving boards, water slides, water parks, other types of structures must remain closed at this time. But I know that probably varies depending on your county. Anybody else have any feedback on that?
Hi, Stephanie. I'm in Monterey County, and we've been just authorized to open by the county office, our health officer, and they haven't come out with any guidelines. It's basically just referring it to the state and fitness facilities, and basically have fun and go on and you can open. So the guidelines don't seem to be real strict for us here, but I am getting a lot of calls about opening. Other pools in our area are not opening, so I imagine our little facility here might get quite busy here. We're looking at maybe opening on July 1st.
Okay.
We also have a diving club, and they're going to start back on next week on Tuesday and Thursday. They've got about 20 divers, but we have 2 1 meter, 2 3 meters, so they'll be able to socially distance fairly easily. And then obviously just, 1 user at a time, clearly. But they're also using going to start using their training trampoline as well that's on the pool deck. And they've got parameters. So we've asked the swim team and the dive club to put forth their plan on how they have their swimmers or athletes check in, social distance, who's allowed to come in, those types of things, how many quantities. So we have our user groups put forth a plan to us, and then we review it to see that it falls through with most of what we're seeing from the county, and then add edits or suggestions as needed.
Awesome. Yeah, has anyone else have you experienced any frustration or lack of information for your help from your local health department, or has it made it easier for you? Has it made it harder for you? What kind of experience have you had with that? Is anyone going to be open for rec swim or open swim?
Sorry. So in terms of,
Yeah, we're planning on opening up for rec swim. Specifics and stuff like that are still being worked out, but we think sometime July 8th or something like that is what we're thinking.
Cool.
Sorry about that. City of El Cajon, we're attached to San Diego County, and so I know one issue that we've run into is that just there's been some inconsistency. One document will say one thing and another one will contradict it, and then you watch their Zoom meetings, similar things are happening, but we're working through it as best we can. And then for rec swim, we are offering rec swim in the middle of the day as well as Saturdays and Sundays, but just limited social distancing, etc.
For people that are offering rec swim, are you just limiting the number of people, or are you designating sections of the pool?
we're limiting the number of people for now. You know, and obviously we'll work through it as it happens. And we'll just have to keep them separated based on household. And my pool is a very small pool. It's more of a teaching pool. So I don't really have a true deep end. So most of the kids will be secluded with their household and, you know, in a shallow area.
When we open July 6th, we are going to just start with Aqua Zumba for kids and adults. So that way we get everybody, all ages. And then we're going to do lap swim only. But then the second, and we're going to wait 2 weeks, see how that goes. And then on the third week, we're probably going to bring in, we're probably going to do a rec swim, but it's going to be more of a camp style. So we're going to be doing like 10 kids at a time, having 10 kids come at a time. They are sign up on Active. It's a week-long program, and there's only 10 at a time. And so that way you can kind of keep an eye on them if they want to go off the diving board or they want to be in the shallow end, trying to keep them separate. It's going to be hard because, you know, with the lifeguards and everything, we're going to probably lose money on all this, but just to be able to get it open.
Okay. Colin's wondering, are your agencies going to police the social distancing in the water? I think that's probably a huge question out there.
We should all install sirens.
Right.
So someone else, we can push a button.
Yeah. And how do you plan on that? And are you going to be, because what I keep seeing is that, or what I've seen is that it's not ideal for lifeguards to be doing that since they have more important things to be keeping an eye on. So are the lifeguards going to be policing the in-water, or how are you going to handle that?
We are considering hiring a separate a person that has, we'll make sure they have their at least first aid, and they may be an extra guard, but they will pretty much be an on-deck person. They'll be helping us do some sanitizing, keeping everything clean. We're shutting down our concession stand. So that person would kind of be in charge of viewing that without the lifeguards having to do it, because they definitely have more important things to be watching out for.
Okay. Anybody else have any feedback back on that?
So the concern is that a lifeguard who's watching a pool full of people may be distracted by telling them to move away from each other, rather than just watching the pool and all the people in it that they watch anyway. I'm confused.
Yeah, Peter.
I got to be honest with you. I don't mean to disagree with anyone, but I don't see why a lifeguard can't blow a whistle and tell a kid move away from someone else. But maybe I'm oversimplifying the art of surveillance.
Yeah, valid point.
Yeah, I think they'll be doing both, but just an extra set of eyes.
Yeah,
I agree with the extra set of eyes. I mean, I've worked in cities where, I think Will Davis is on this call, where we used to hire control managers in Oakland to deal with behavioral issues so that lifeguards wouldn't get into it with kids from the neighborhood. But, you know, I don't know. This is all a lot.
Yeah, and you would think with limited numbers of swimmers, it would be a little bit easier for your lifeguards.
I think someone said 10 kids, right?
Right. That makes sense. So Peter says in Contra Costa County, their health order requires a separate person on deck to maintain social distancing and not the lifeguards.
Did they move Newark into Contra Costa County, Peter? I didn't hear that. I didn't know that.
Yep, that's
Still muted.
He's trying to unmute.
Your whole quippy response was muted, Pete.
Hold on. Let me try to unmute you. There you go. You're good.
I was going to say, no, Newark's not in Contra Costa, but I do keep an eye on things. And that was one of the things that popped up when I looked at their order that was kind of interesting and different from what I've seen from other counties, etc.
Again, I'm not trying to be nasty and negative. I just think that a lifeguard is either watching the pool and everyone in it or they're not. And telling someone to move away from someone, I don't know if it requires us to spend another $15 an hour to have someone out there to do that when there's 10 or 12 kids in the pool. But, you know, I'm continually befuddled by all the different counties' takes and what it's amazing. It's very nice to hear all the creative things people are doing, but this is just, we're not doing anything. Our pools aren't allowed to be open in Alameda County. So we're running a 12-kid junior guard program at our pool for the next 3 weeks, and they'll be the ones that get to use the water. And then we're talking about transporting. We have, I think, 18 camp locations across the city with 12 kids that we've spread out into parks everywhere. And we'll probably be driving a group of those kids to the pool like once a week or once every 2 weeks to let them go swimming because that's allowed. But Alameda County is behind everybody. Of the 6 Bay Area counties, our curve has not gone down and stabilized like the other counties because of the skilled nursing homes that got infected early on in Oakland and Hayward. Those numbers have rose highly, like some had like 50 people, and I think they're starting to die now. So our numbers are still up there. They're not going down because those people have been sick for 4 to 6 weeks and now they're actually passing away. So we're in a different boat.
Yeah. Does anybody have any new alternative programs other than the usuals that maybe you've implemented or thought of as a result of all of this?
We instituted a swim team clinic to kind of subsidize our rec swim team that was canceled. We basically used a lap swim method. We have 14 lanes at one pool. We're putting 14 kids in at 45-minute intervals, basically. We put it out there for like 2 hours and we filled up all the slots that we had for the 2-time slots and stuff like that. So it was clearly what they wanted. So it worked out.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
Stephanie?
Yes.
It's Jeanette in Bakersfield. We are considering adding maybe a family lap swim time in. We have an adult lap swim program, but since we're going to be limited on what we can offer, we probably won't be doing swim team this summer. We're thinking about adding in a family swim team option where parent and child come in, they can share a lane, and it's a way for us to still serve children.
That is awesome. I could bring my kid down and she could kick my butt in the pool.
That's what every parent needs. All right. Facility adjustments. Anything else that you've, what about your bathrooms, showers, locker rooms? How are you guys handling that? Any frustrations or creative solutions you want to share?
There's a pathway with caution tape and like pylon cones leading them to the restroom area of the locker room. So that prevents them from using the lockers or the showers. But Contra Costa County eased the requirements a little bit, it looked like, on the showers yesterday, and said something along the lines of you can have showers if there's partitions in between them, or if you like space out your showers so people are never within 6 feet apart. So it's something we're looking at maybe easing in the future, but for now there's you know, the pathway to use the bathroom, and we're just telling everybody come prepared to swim and then leave right after you're done.
Right.
And try not to use the, you know, bathrooms if you don't have to, but obviously if they do, they have that option.
Okay. What about entry and exit? I know a lot of the counties have recommended trying to keep those as separate as possible. Is your facility able to do that, or is anybody having troubles with that? I know all the facilities are so different. Makes it hard to adapt to some of these things.
The layout's pretty easy in Folsom. So the main area where you get checked in is your entry. From there, then you can go into the and use restrooms if you absolutely need to, but then it also funnels them right onto the pool deck. And then we have the exit, which was an emergency exit gate. We just made that into an exit gate, put in some additional barriers, kind of similar to what Andrew was just talking about, just to kind of bring them together and usher them out that way. And then making sure that people don't enter through the exit, especially when our swim team starts to use and the moms and dads thinks they can just wander onto any pool deck because they, so to speak, own it. But so far, like I said, it was just a day in the books. It's been going well. I think most people have been very respectful that there is a new way. And so they're looking for the signs. They're just not blowing by them. They're wondering what it says, observant of them. Hopefully that continues and, you know, it kind of goes that way. But similar to what also Andrew was saying, kind of looking at, well, what are those requirements for allowing people to use the shower and or whatnot. But so starting slow, getting people back in the water, getting people acclimated again, allowing the smiles to remain rather than the frowns to come back when you start telling them no, 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 no. So that's kind of the goal.
Good. Is anyone having any difficulty with, are you mainly doing the touchless payment with either online in advance, or if you're, are you having any problems with your facility not being able to do online registration or take money other than just cash? Is anyone having any troubles with that or thoughts on that?
There hasn't been any problems so far. Everybody kind of gets it, and most people, the pass sales have spiked huge because people are all buying a pass to make it easier when they come. So all good.
That's awesome. So moving, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a question. When it comes to parents, say, you know, if we decided to do lessons, onlookers, how is anybody dealing with that? Because at our facility, we have bleachers and there's stadium seating. So I'm a little worried on how to rope off. Am I going to measure 6 feet exactly? Any thoughts on that? Or no, you know, no spectators at all? Any thoughts on that? And I'm in LA County, so of course my guidelines are super strict right now.
We're measuring more than 6 feet, just like during our with the floor markers, just because, you know, when you come in with a family, 6 feet with one parent plus 3 kids is not, as 6 feet goes away real quick. And then in terms of spectating, you know, you can section off your bleachers either, you know, up one way, and then to exit, they have to walk across the bench and then down, you know, so kind of have like a zigzag going on. That's how we're doing it here, is having a, you know, it's kind of a one-way only type of thing. So if they exit the facility, they have to go all the way around and come back. Luckily, I have a smaller facility, so that walk around is not, you know, a big deal.
Yeah. Tiffany mentioned that for their swim lessons, they won't have any spectators. And since lessons will be grown up and me, there will be someone in the water with the child. So that kind of could help with your spectator. If you're doing lessons that require adult participation, there's really no reason to have additional adults showing up to the pool for that lesson.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
No problem. So in regards to staffing, how's that been working? Are you mainly working with just returning staff? Have you been allowed to do new hires? Are you encountering any troubles with getting new staff, lifeguards?
We are starting off with 4 returning guards. So that's why our program is very limited. And then as soon as we're able to train, we already have Zoomed our interviews. So we know who we'll be hiring. And as soon as training is allowed, then we know who we'll pick and bring more guards on.
We usually have about 90 returning staff each year. It looks like we're going to only get about 50 that want to return this year, which is going to work out okay because we're going to basically have half the program, half the returning staff, and hire a handful from the lifeguard class we're teaching. Also run daycares. It's a little harder to get daycare staff to return because most of them are already collecting unemployment. Whereas the summer staff, probably the ones that want to return are the ones that were only working in the summer and therefore aren't giving up any unemployment benefits.
Very true. Do we have, we did have another question from the chat. Jasmine's asking, how are you handling patrons who need to use an ADA lift? Has anyone encountered that or have a plan for that they want to share?
The ADA lifts are designed to be that the person could use them without assistance, so it shouldn't change social distancing. I haven't thought about it, so it's a good point. We might want to come up with a protocol to clean them, but it seems like the operation of them should be fine. Typically, if we have anybody use it, it's one person every 3 weeks or something, so it's not likely that we need to immediately clean it for someone else to use it 8 minutes later. But it's a good question.
Yeah, we've got a similar thing, ADA lift being used very infrequently, but I did space out my lessons a little bit more so that my instructors in between each class will have designated sanitizing duties. So, and the ADA lift fall on one of them, while other one will have like railings, kickboards, what have you. So it's just another item to just kind of be aware of.
Right. All right, Tara and Zach, do you have anything to share with us Red Cross wise?
Hey, so we don't have any updates or changes that have been posted on the COVID-19 guidance page. We are hoping for an update on the 120-day extension that is quickly approaching for some folks that expired in the earlier months. So we hope to have an update on that soon. So I would just say keep your eyes out on the Learning Center for that. If that is a concern for you, you should still definitely be reaching out to either Zachary or I, to see what the best course of action is moving forward. So keep your eyes out.
Okay, thank you. What are you guys thinking about in regards to continuing these Zooms? I know we took a week off. We thought that maybe the weekly was not as useful as it was in the beginning. So we're just kind of hoping for some feedback on what you want to see on the frequency. If you wanted to meet on the 24th a week from now, or how can we help you? We want to make sure that we're respectful of your time and making it worth your time. So we'd love to have some feedback on that. Every other works. Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel the same, that once people get up and running, weekly might be a little much. So the question, I'll share that with Terry and we'll see what we can do. I know that her plan was to at least do monthly, at some point move to monthly. I think we can definitely accommodate the bi-weekly. So we'll keep you posted on that. I appreciate the feedback. It looks like most people are in agreement with every other. Does anyone else have any other questions or need some advice from someone? We've got a lot of really knowledgeable people here today. So there are no stupid questions, as we like to tell our staff. So if there's something that you've been wondering about, or you just want to vent, get some kind of advice, share,
I have a question. Has anybody made a statement on their social media or on their websites in regards to why their pool's not opening and the reasoning that their programs are going to be limited? Has anybody made any types of statements that they may have out there that we can maybe look at and copy?
That's actually a really great question. My pool is unfortunately not opening because we're seasonal, and it was just too many restrictions that it would make it very difficult for us. And of course, a major part of that is the financial impact, but the last thing we want to do is blame it on the financial impact. We want to keep it basically it's COVID's fault, which is true. So overall, we've been posting updates for our entire park district as what the status of things. So rather than calling attention to the pool itself, we've just continued to lump the pool in. Each area has its own update. Like our recreation center is opening on Monday for certain things because we have fitness facilities, so we're able to do that. But we give an update on the parks and how things stand with reservations. And for the pool, we just put will remain closed for the season. We haven't gotten a lot of feedback on that, and I think it's because people are aware. I do feel like if we made a statement that was just pool specific, people would just use that as a reason to complain and show their frustration. I haven't seen any announcements in my area either. I think they're just kind of writing it out because people know why pools aren't opening. But I would be curious if anyone else has some experience with that, because I know it's definitely a delicate thing. I personally witnessed a pool, an agency in Indiana posted about their pool not opening back in May. And rather than kind of keeping it strictly with COVID, they went into this long explanation of how traditionally it's expensive for their pool to run, and this was a difficult decision. And the comments, I literally felt like that could have been my community responding to these questions. As I was reading the comment and then their statement and then the comments below, I just thought to myself, note to self that this is what we do not want to do, because people were giving their 5 cents about, well, why can't you do fundraising? And of course, you're going to close the pool. The kids have nothing to do. The same stuff we hear from our communities all the time, and probably from all the people who haven't been to the pool in 10 years at that. It's everybody has to give their opinion. So I definitely learned from that, and I thought there is no way I'm even going to deal with that. So Tara G, our CPRS president, just let us know in the chat that Roseville has a post on their Facebook page to address the Parks and Rec stuff. So if you go to their website, you could probably just Google City of Roseville, California. But it's roseville.ca.us. You can probably track that down. She did provide the link in the chat if you guys are able to get to that. But yeah, that's kind of, we've just kept it real basic. I don't think we're going to address the pool specifically.
I think this is the time where it's less is more.
Right. Completely agree.
The less feedback we're going to get.
Yeah.
Our council is really pushing. We're a small community, population 7,000. So
yeah,
our community is small, so everybody has their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better.
Very similar. I'm feeling you.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say, same here. Our community is super small. You even go for a walk with your personal family and they're asking, do you know anything yet? Are you open yet? Well, why not? LA County says everything's open. I'm like, we're just trying to be safe for us all, guys, so I can concur. It's hard. That's why we haven't really said anything either, because I can guarantee we'll get some comments in that comment box that are going to be outrageous.
Right. Same. And true, what's helped us a little bit for the most part until the city of Bakersfield announced that they would be opening their pools. Most of the pools in our area are not opening. So that's kind of made it a little bit easier, because we're not hearing the whole, oh, well, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so is opening. Why aren't you? kind of, so that's been of help as well. Anyone else have anything, questions?
Question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably do it with our staff where we're gonna have them bring family members. We have probably about a fifth of our staff have siblings on staff, so for them it'll be easy for them to rescue people in water, stuff like that. What are other people doing besides that? Is there any other technique? Are they gonna stagger their training so they only have smaller trainings and more often, stuff like that?
Great question. Anybody have any feedback on that?
When we finally find someone that will train, because I don't have an LGI, so as soon as I find someone that will train, it'll probably be just a small group and to bring a family member to be your victim.
Jasmine had mentioned that they're going to try to get in-water mannequins.
Does anybody know the price of those? How expensive they are?
Jasmine, do you have any info on that if you guys have been looking at it, or are you still just in the early stages? Ooh, $735, she says.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lifeguard for me.
Right. All right.
If you guys are looking at mannequins as far as lifeguard training goes, I would get those approved through Zachary or I first, just to make sure that that is something that Red Cross is okay with. I can tell you now that the adult size rescue Randy has been approved, and there may be one other one. I can't recall the name at the moment. I can take a look at that, but that is one of the cheaper ones, the rescue Randy adult size.
Okay. So we did have a question. Jeanette wanted to know if we could do a survey next time on what programs are opening. We can definitely try that. I think what I might look into between now and our next Wednesday chat, especially if we're going to wait 2 weeks, is possibly sending out some kind of survey to our membership so that we can get feedback from those who don't make these calls, because if we were to just do a survey here, we'd probably only hit about 50 people. So maybe we'll look into something, whether it be SurveyMonkey or Google Docs, where we can send it out to you and you can respond to that, and then we can share that information. And then we can also share it on Facebook to catch people. So we can definitely work on that for you to let you know what pools are open and what programs. I know that NRPA, someone in one of the other groups has one that's national, and it's been pretty interesting to watch the results of that.
Yeah, we were looking for something we could share with our attorney and risk management to kind of get ease of what's being offered throughout the state. So
okay, yeah, we can definitely try that for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I did see another question. Hold on. I lost it here. Oh, does anybody have any restrictions on how many reservations someone can make in a week for lap swim if they're doing reservations? Jasmine says they have a small pool, so they have limited space. And how are you keeping, is it a concern, or how are you keeping people from, you know, dominating the reservation times? Does anybody have anything on that?
We got 5 max swims per week in San Ramon, but we're operating out of a 50-meter pool, so we have 19 lanes every session, and we're controlling that through Sign Up Genius. So you can put in there 3 swims a week, 5 swims. I saw Santa Barbara doing 3 swims a week, so I think it kind of varies.
Okay.
For us, we are only releasing things in blocks of 3 weeks at a time, since everything is going to be on a 1-week basis. So we're hoping that if we, do it in sections, and as guidelines either loosen or tighten if we do have a surge in, we're not caught doing 6 weeks worth of, refunds or reschedules, that kind of thing.
Okay. Thanks, Dominic. Holly says that in Davis, they're pretty much going full throttle with trainings, and they're going to keep trainings in small groups of folks, and they'll only do rescues with the people that are in their groups. And that'll be the same for all their trainings. So that's something helpful. Kind of like a day camp situation. You can only be around the same people over and over.
Yeah, we got clearance on Monday to say open way more than what we were expecting to on July 6th. So we have to basically we have to onboard, replan our summer, and get started for that. We're starting training next weekend. We're going to train the 27th through the 2nd. All of our lifeguards and everything like that. Our lifeguard training class is going to be Monday through Wednesday of next week with blended learning. They did not unfortunately get the whole 2 weeks to do blended learning online. It was kind of a, hey, if you want to do this, you have to do this now, because we needed to get our lifeguards on before we were able to hire. They needed to get their certifications before we could onboard and do their orientations and stuff. So.
All right, we got about 7 minutes left. Anyone else have anything they want to ask the group? Get some feedback on?
Has anybody come up with new plans when it comes to like personal belongings? I know at my pool before, we would take their bag and put it away, and they weren't allowed to take it out on deck and stuff like that. Well, due to everything going on now, the less contact, the better. So has anybody came up with any ideas of how to keep everything off the deck in a way, or on the deck and not cluttered in the way of all this social distancing?
We put a box on the deck with tape, just like duct tape, and put a number in the box, because they stagger what lane, like side of the pool they start on. And it's working really well. Like, I would have never imagined how effective the box is. They use it as the place to stand and wait for their lane to open. They use it as where they put their gear. It's working really well.
That's a great idea. Tierney in Laguna Beach says that they put a folding chair behind each lane for lap swim, so patrons put their belongings there rather than using lockers. Same for, Colin said they're planning on doing the same for swim lessons.
I was thinking the loading dock area. I'm glad that worked out for you. I'm glad to hear that works, because then I'll try and do that. I was thinking about doing the taped box and then putting a number in the taped box for each lane, and then giving them you're in this lane, you get this numbered box. That's where you're going to exist. And then my staff, I'm going to tell them there won't be any chairs in the guard offices. They'll just be folding chairs they can bring. Then I don't have to sanitize the chairs at the end of it, is what I was thinking for that.
Yeah, Peter says that they're planning to use milk crates with garbage bag liners to put the belongings in. So that's another way. So it looks like some boxes, some crates, chairs.
Is anyone going to allow bleacher seating, or are you guys just going to shut the bleachers down? That's what we were thinking about, putting caution tape and looking really tacky, but again, telling people bring chairs.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I have a grass area attached, but also on my grounds, I also have a dance room as well as craft room. So I have my swim lesson parents going to the outside grass, and then in my backyard, that's where my dance parents are going to be, socially distanced as well. And with, we're sending out a parent letter stating, this is how we line up, and then also bring your own chairs and water bottles, because we, water fountains are off as well. So.
All right, do any of our board members have anything to input, share? All right, again, thank you guys for being here today. We appreciate your participation. We had a little over 50 people here today. I know it's starting to get crazy with even if they're not opening pools, some people have been pulled different directions to do other things in their agencies. So I know that's taken our numbers a different direction. So we appreciate you taking the time to join us and to share your information with each other. It's a great resource, and we hope to be able to continue as much as we can. Again, if you are not currently a member of the aquatic section, but you are a CPRS member, don't forget that we have waived the section fees to be a member of the aquatic section. So as long as you're a paid member of CPRS, you can join our section at no cost. So definitely remind any coworkers that you have that may do multiple things if they're a member of the rec section, but they do aquatics. Get them to sign up for aquatics as well, just so that they can get some information direct to them. So that's a resource we have. And again, we will be having a board meeting tomorrow at 11. So if anyone wants to chime in, feel free. We'll send that information out this afternoon. So unless there's any last thing, thanks again for being here, and hope you have a great Wednesday.
Thanks, Steph. Bye,
You're
everybody.
welcome. Thanks, guys.
Very much.